To the Bird Camp Radio podcast. I'm your host, Kellen Golightly. We're excited to be here for our 33rd episode of Bird Camp. So, today we're going to have Ryan McCollum on. We're excited to have him. He sent in his bio just a little bit earlier, and I'm going to read that for us real quick. Ryan McCollum has been immersed in the world of upland hunting since he could walk. He grew up following his father behind English setters, raising dogs at home and hunting wild quail from an early age. That foundation, wild birds, good dogs, and time in the field shaped not only his passion for wing shooting, but the way he approaches every hunt to this day. By high school, Ryan was already guiding quail hunts in southern Illinois, working behind pointing dogs and gaining hands-on experience in real wild bird country. He went on to enroll in the Shooting Complex Management Program at Southeastern Illinois College, where he studied under Bruce Herring and graduated as a National Sporting Clays Association certified shooting instructor. During that time, he completed a year-long internship at a major South Texas ranch, where he guided extensively in wild quail country behind pointing dogs, while also gaining experience in deer management and large-scale hunting operations. Ryan later managed a prestigious wing shooting lodge in Southern California, where he guided wild valley quail hunts behind pointing dogs along with pheasant and chukar. Those years reinforced with his appreciation for truly wild birds and the importance of dog work, habitat, and knowledgeable guiding. His career soon took him to Mexico, where he spent many years working and guiding quail hunts behind pointing dogs, particularly in the renowned wing shooting regions of Tamaulipas, I probably said that wrong, and northern Mexico. Determined to fully integrate into the local hunting culture, Ryan committed himself to becoming fluent in Spanish. He graduated from a full immersion Spanish program in Costa Rica and continued advanced studies at Southern Illinois University between hunting seasons. That fluency has allowed him to build long-standing relationships with landowners and outfitters and uncover exceptional, often untouched wild bird hunting opportunities. While attending SIU, Ryan expanded his outdoor background into fly fishing, attending guide school in Montana that led to his work as an Orvis-endorsed fishing guide in Alaska. He later combined his passions for wing shooting, fishing, and Spanish by establishing and operating sporting programs in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, offering wild quail hunts behind pointing dogs, duck hunting, and world-class tarpon fishing. In the early 2000s, Ryan relocated to Paraguay, where he worked alongside Erland von Schneidern in Bolivia and Paraguay, managing large-scale dove and pigeon wing shooting operations. After Erland's passing, Ryan assumed responsibility for seeing those operations, maintaining high standards of service, logistics, and client experience. Ryan later launched and operated his own sporting operation in Bolivia for 6 successful years, specializing in dove and pigeon wing shooting as well as peacock bass fishing. During that time, he married a Bolivian woman and became the proud father of 3 children. Over the course of his career, Ryan has hunted, guided, and managed wing shooting operations across the United States, Mexico, Argentina, Paraguay, Bolivia, Nicaragua, Romania, and beyond. Today, Ryan is the founder and owner of the Worldwide Wingshooter. He also owns and operates Yucatan Wingshooting, focused on authentic wild quail hunts, turkey hunts, and fishing in the Yucatan Peninsula, as well as Sierra Norte sporting in Nuevo Leon, Mexico, offering quail, duck, dove, and turkey hunts in partnership with trusted Mexican operators, all centered on wild birds and traditional pointing dog hunting. At Worldwide Wingshooter, Ryan's consulting services come at no cost to the client. His mission is simple: to connect serious upland hunters with reputable, first-class operations that deliver genuine wild bird experiences, with a lifetime spent behind English setters and decades of guiding and managing hunts behind pointing dogs across the world. Ryan remains dedicated to preserving and sharing the traditions that define upland bird hunting. Ryan, That's a great bio, and we are excited to have you on. How are you, man?
Great, thank you. Glad to be on with you.
Yes, we're excited to dive in to your bio and who you are and what you've been able to do, because you've been very well accomplished in your career when it comes to Upland Game and the guiding businesses. But before we get into that, we'd like to play the quick game of rapid fire around the campfire with you. For the ones that don't know about this game consists of 10 questions about upland game hunting. We do have a leaderboard. It is timed. Each one of these can be answered in one word. And so if you're ready to go, we'll get started.
Let's go.
All right. Let me pull this up. And here we go. Favorite bird to hunt?
Quail.
Favorite shotgun gauge?
12.
Morning or evening hunts?
Morning.
Favorite dog breed?
English setter.
Game bag or vest?
Best.
Favorite state to hunt?
Oh, Texas.
Solo or with friends?
With friends.
Public or private land?
Private.
Dream hunting destination?
Africa.
Limit or memories?
Memories.
There we go. That's a pretty good time. We'll release that at the end of the podcast, but I think you kind of stirred it up for us this time, so it's looking good. Looking good. No, man, we're excited to have you on, get to know you a little bit more and what you do in the background of upland game hunting and why you continue to progress in this great tradition and pass it on for others to enjoy as well. We'd just like to kind of get started where it all began for you. Where did upland game hunting come into your life, and how did that affect you?
When I was a child, my dad raised English setters, and we hunted. He was all excited about the opening day, and I hunted with him since I could walk. And one time when I was a little kid, he had a Browning humpback. I think it was a 12 gauge, and I kept begging him to let me shoot into a covey, and it didn't fit me, so I put it under my arm and I shot, and I still got a scar on my nose right here from it, and I was bleeding, but I shot the bird, so I was addicted since then. And we hunted hard every day, and he walked my brains out. For a while I got burned out on it. When I got probably about 10, 11, I got burned out for a while and didn't want to go, and then all of a sudden it kicked in again, and I couldn't wait to go. And he just passed away 2 weeks ago, so I have a lot of memories of hunting with him, and brings back memories. Us in the field shooting. We always shot sporting clays and quail hunted, turkey hunted and stuff. And so that's where it started. And then I was going to Rend Lake College to be an architect, and there was a shooting complex across the street, and they had guides and did bird. I took my bird dogs out there and started guiding. And a guy brought. He was delivering the release birds one day. He said, "Hey, are you from that hunting school and that shooting school?" I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Oh, the one at Harrisburg, the Southeastern Illinois College." I said, "No, but I want to hear about it." He told me, so I went and quit architecture and started that school that same day, and it's taken me a lot of places. We got to shoot every day and work dogs and study biology and all that kind of stuff, and then we go visit ranches, and I got to do my internship in South Texas guiding, like you said in my bio there. So that's just where it began, and I've met some great people, and they've helped me along the way. And my dream was to go to Argentina and work. And I was guiding some guys on a quail hunt in Tamaulipas, Mexico. And I told them I wanted to go to Argentina. They said, "We just got back from Bolivia. That's where you need to go and work with Erland von Snyder." I didn't even know where Bolivia was on the map at the time. And that's how bad it was. But as soon as I got done with our hunt, I went in and called Erland up. And he said, "As soon as your season's over, get on a plane and come to Bolivia." And I said, "All right, I'll be there." So I went down there and worked for him, and he passed away. And we were working Bolivia and Paraguay, doing high volume dove, pigeon, peacock bass. And so after he passed away, I worked with his widow for a year, one season. And then after that, she was going to shut it down. So me and his head scout started a business, and I stayed in Bolivia, had the kids, got married, and then moved back to the States to raise the kids. Kind of wish I'd have stayed down there. I was in paradise. But anyway, now I'm back in Mexico, and we book trips all over the world. I've got people right now in Salta, Argentina hunting. Got some people going to Bolivia. white wing season's coming up here in August. Got groups going. I'll go with those groups that go to Mexico, and I help translate and make sure they're having a good trip. And it's a great time. And then January, February, March, April, I'll be in the Yucatan back and forth, doing wild quail, duck hunting, tarpon fishing, and ocellated turkey.
That's quite the experiences. I love to hear it. With all of that, what is upland game hunting like outside of the country? Does it change up much, or is it pretty much the same? What's it like?
Oh, it changes. Like in the Yucatan, I just had like the Quail Forever group were down there, and they hunted, and they said, Ryan, I think there's more wild quail here than anywhere on the planet. And we had 3 groups of like 3 people going. We parked in one spot and went different directions, and in one morning combined there was 100 cubbies found, around 100. So, and it's a lot about habitat. They got the perfect habitat. Nobody's down there running bush hogs and cutting down and farming up to the lines and that kind of thing. And they have great habitat, great food, not a lot of predators where we're at. So it's just a perfect combination.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. So when it comes to like hunting property, here in the States, of course, a lot of it, I mean, where we're at here in Utah, we roughly have 70 to 80% public land, which is great opportunity when it especially comes to bird hunting, because most of the state, you can go across the whole state and have basically anywhere to hunt. I know other states, like Texas, it's almost flip-flop. Most of it's private property. What's it like in these other countries when it comes to, do they have your typical public land and private land properties, or how does that work?
It's pretty much all private ranches, so you have to go on and get permission. And like in Mexico, you have to have a thing called an UMA, which is the biologists come and study the ground, and then you get a permit. But yeah, I don't even know that there is any public hunting ground in Mexico for sure. That I know of, there's not. Argentina, same thing. It's farms, and Bolivia, it's farms. And, these farmers in South America, like for bird hunting, they want you coming down and shooting doves and pigeons because they're eating. Sometimes they'll eat 40 to 50% of their crop. So they want you there, but, you still have to pay them a little bit.
That makes sense. So growing up, I've always seen, and I've had a few people that I've known personally within our community that's hunted Argentina with the dove hunt. And I've seen videos, and I've never seen anything like it before. Like, it's
amazing.
It's just insane to see those videos, and have these guys just sitting right there filling you up with shells, and all you basically got to do is just shoot. It's crazy.
Some places they'll have a loader too, and you can shoot 2 guns and just keep handing it back and forth, and they load it for you.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. So, do you have a favorite country that you prefer, like bird species too, in certain areas? I'm just curious.
Well, I really like Argentina just because they got great duck hunting. You could shoot perdiz behind dogs. Amazing dove hunting, pigeon hunting, dorado fish and golden dorado fishing in the rivers. And, you can go down to southern Argentina and trout fish, and there's big stag. They got wild quail down there also. So it's a country it's a wing shooter fisherman paradise, and I really like it. I wouldn't mind to live there.
Yeah,
and the lodges in Argentina, pretty much all of them have tons of birds. So now they compete on who has the biggest lodge, who has the best food, who has the best service, who's closer to the birds. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So they go out, to get the best of the best.
That's amazing. I've heard good things. I mean, I actually lived in El Salvador for a year, and I knew a guy from Argentina. He only spoke highly about Argentina. He hated El Salvador. He just wanted to go back to Argentina, and we would get talking about like Patagonia and places like that, and I would love to one day be able to go over to like the Patagonia area. I've heard a lot about like the brown trout over in
Hmm.
these areas, and I've never seen anything like it. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yes, it is. It's a beautiful country.
No, that's awesome. So when it comes to the bird dogs, what is your situation when, I mean, you're guiding these hunts? I'm guessing you have employees over there as well. Where do the bird dogs fit into those categories?
I'll tell you a funny story. So I had some customers one time. We were in Mexico, and the bird boys, they're the guides. They train the dogs in Spanish, and they're talking to them. And this guy looks at me one time. He goes, "Ryan, them dogs are really smart. They know how to speak Spanish." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "In China, they probably speak Chinese too." But anyway, yeah, the dogs, they learn those Spanish commands, so it's they're pretty neat. And
Yeah.
we buy dogs in the States and ship them down, and we also buy some that are already in Mexico that have been trained. So
Wow. So when it comes to bird dogs down there, do they have like I know like here in Utah, for example, a lot of guys, because of the terrain and the amount of chucker population we have, a lot of guys like to run GSPs.
hmm
Um, I know in the Midwest, there's a lot of guys that like to run setters. Um, in in Mexico and some of these other countries, is there like a typical dog that you see, or is it kind of around here in the United States where it's kind of depends in the area where you're at?
well, I tell you what, where I work at another spot, I got a good relationship with a place in Tamaulipas, and we go there, and they have a mixture of dogs, but the weather's a little cooler there, so they can get away with it. They'll have Brittany's, pointers, setters, GSPs, the whole thing. Now in the Yucatan, I've taken some setters down, but it's so hot. I mean, by 9 o'clock, it's like 90 something degrees, and we usually quit because it's hot on the dogs. But we run pointers, GSPs mainly there, just because of the heat, and it's tough. A lot of rocks and thorns and stuff. So we got to have a tough dog that just keep rolling and don't, not getting that hot.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, for you personally, I mean, you grew up with English setters. Is that still your go-to for you yourself, or?
Yeah, I love them. Just as a dog in general, and for hunting both.
Yeah, that I mean, I've known quite a few people.
But we
here.
have, like in the Yucatan, I have a problem. This new worm, the burrowing worm that's got into the cattle population.
Oh yeah,
I
I've
don't know
heard
if
of
you've
it.
heard of that or not, but we've lost, we've lost several bird dogs to that. And we also have a problem sometimes with these birds in the Yucatan like to fly low, and ours aren't steady to wing and shot. So when they get up, the dogs start running, and guys start shooting them, and they're running through the brush, and the birds are flying low. We'll end up getting some dogs shot, and we've lost some to that worm. So I hate seeing that stuff, but it happens. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I hate losing bird dogs.
Yeah, that's rough. So, when it comes to your bird dogs, how many do you guys have down there at a time, usually?
We try to have 10 or more. I'd like to have about 20 dogs just because, it's hot, and I like to rotate them out, let them heal up and get rested up. But like I said, we've lost some, and we've had a few accidentally get shot because of low flying birds and the dog running out and people not seeing them in the brush, stuff like that.
Yeah, that would definitely do it. So, when it comes to your company, do you have like a favorite, like, is there usually some hunt that people like to originate to, ones that are more popular than others?
Um, I used to, back in the day, not as much anymore, but I used to be known as a pigeon guy because I ran the pigeon hunts in Paraguay. So I had lots and lots of pigeon hunters, and they were always looking for the best place. So I was always concentrating on finding the very best pigeon place for them. And there was some good pigeon places out there. I still love northern Mexico, northeast Mexico, Tamaulipas. You could shoot ducks in Laguna Madre, tons of wild quail. I went down and hunted there last year with the guy that I guided when he was a little kid, and he wanted me to hunt with him. And that was 20-something years ago, and we hunted together last year, and oh, it was amazing. How many? I think we found 60 coveys one day.
Wow, that's amazing. So when we're talking your wild quail populations, what kind of quail do they have down there?
In the Yucatan, it's the black-throated bobwhite quail. The hen looks just like the hen. The male looks like a regular northern, but he has a big black spot, and his underneath's a little more colored. Real neat bird. We're also going to do some hunts in Veracruz, Mexico, where they have the chestnut-breasted bobwhite quail. And then in Tamaulipas, it's the regular northern bobwhite quail.
Wow, I didn't realize there were so many different types of bobwhites. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's, I forgot how many species. And Mexico has a lot of species of quail. There's the Montezuma, the Valley quails over there, the scale, chestnut, northern bobwhite. And then there's some of these weird jungle birds. I had some guys come hunt with me this last year, and they were like, we want to hunt every species of quail there are in Mexico. And they'd already studied where they're at and all this stuff, so they were wanting me to put a trip together. They were going to fly from one spot to the next to try to species collect. We get a lot of guys species collecting for the black-throated bobwhite.
Wow, yeah, that's definitely unique and something new to me. When it comes to, like you said, a lot of this is farmlands that you're hunting. A lot of it's private property. What's the terrain like when you're hunting these this farm ground? I'm just curious.
So in the Yucatan, it was pretty much all jungly, but they cleared out all these places for cattle farms. And where there's cattle, there's quail down there where we're at. And there's a bunch of cattle farms. So the weeds grow up pretty high, and like I don't start hunting in December. When I could, December and January, because the weeds are still high, I let them cattle get in there and they knock the weeds down so we can actually walk through there where it's decent. It's a rocky terrain on the bottom because it's like a limestone kind of lava floor. So, we're walking on some rocks and stuff. Not big boulders or nothing, but it's kind of rocky, like, I don't know how to, porous kind of thing. And then there's weeds and some, there's some sticky stuff here, there, and yonder. We'll just get on the cattle trails and walk around, and it's not too bad. And then, like northeast Mexico, you got a lot of different terrain, farmland, fence rows. You got kind of grassy, rolling little type of ground, and it's nice.
Wow. Yeah, so it does kind of vary a little bit differently from the places, and a little bit different than what we have here in Utah, I'll tell you that.
Sure.
So you're back in the States right now. You're in Illinois, right?
Yes.
Okay. So while you're here, do you do a lot of upland game hunting while you're here in the States too, or how does that work?
Well, I usually don't get to because during the season I'm normally gone, out of the States. But if I get a chance, I will. Here in Illinois, I grew up with my dad. We used hunting with him. We used to find 10, 15 coveys a day. And now if I went out here and found 2, it'd be a good day. I mean, it's pretty tough. You might find 5 or 6 here and there, but it's pretty tough. So he had a hunting buggy, and because he was kind of getting old, so he'd drive around, and he sold that because there just wasn't any birds worth going.
Yeah, it's I've heard a lot about some of those Midwestern states, some upland decline in some areas, and it's part of it. It's tough to see that. Seeing some of that land, I've kind of seen it in my life here in Utah. Some of the places that we used to hunt getting sold off, or public lands as well. So it's kind of hard to see, but it's part of it at the end of the day, I guess. All right, everyone. Quick shout out to our friends at Pet Commute. If you ever tried coordinating dog transport yourself, it's not simple. Whether it's a new pup coming home, a finished dog heading to a buyer, a field trial trip, or even, let's be honest, your wife needing her little mutt transported safely, Pet Commute handles it professionally. Rachel and I have personally transported with them, and I can confidently say they are reliable, safe, punctual, and they keep owners updated the entire trip. They offer free quotes, and if you mention Bird Camp Radio, you'll get 10% off your pet's travel. Hit the link in the show notes, comments, or our socials. So when it comes to the seasons down in Argentina and Mexico, how long are you hunting down there? Where do the seasons align?
Well, in August you can start hunting white-winged dove in Mexico, and then all the way up till October it starts getting cool. They move out. About November you can start hunting quail and ducks, and then mourning doves, all the way into February. And then in the Yucatan we start into January. We hunt February and all of March for quail and ducks, and then we start hunting ocellated turkeys in April, May. We can do March hunts because some people like to combine a quail and turkey hunt and tarpon fishing. So we'll do March. They can even do ducks, so they can get a whole fun week or so in the Yucatan with us, hunting a lot of stuff. We just have to move around. We hunt quail and tarpon in one lodge. We hunt turkey in a different lodge, and we have a different place for ducks. So we just move. We'll hunt like 2 or 3 days of quail, 2 or 3 days of ducks, 3 or 4 days of turkey, and then somewhere in there they can fish in the morning. And the tarpon fishing there is unbelievable also.
Yeah, that sounds like quite the variety and quite a lot of fun to me, and getting out here and having quite a bit of different opportunities throughout a week or whatever you want to do, being able to combine that. So that's really cool. So when it comes to all of this, where can everybody find you? If there's any listeners out there that want to book hunts with you, how can you do it?
Well, I have a website called worldwidewingshooter.com, and that covers everything around the world. And then I have yucatanwingshooting.com that covers the Yucatan. I also have a fishing page. It's called worldwidefishingdestinations.com, and Sierra Norte Sporting.com. That's for Monterey. I didn't even talk about that spot, but yeah, the Monterey thing's easy to get to. You just fly. It's about an hour from Houston flight. You fly right into the international, and you don't have to go across the borders, coming or going. And we pick you up, and it's about a 40-minute drive to the lodge. Great white wings, good quail, good ducks. You can shoot all 3 species of teal there, and you got great turkey. They also have good goose hunting there, so it's a good combination. We also do largemouth bass fishing on Lake El Cuchillo, which is the knife, and they built a big resort. The government did right on the lake, and there's some giant bass in there, and it's a lot of fun.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like quite the setup there. So there you go, everybody. If you want to be able to book a hunt, go do some fun hunts, quite a bit of different varieties. There you go. And we'll put all this in the bio of the episode. So we'll have the link.
I've got a bunch of videos on TikTok under Worldwide Wingshooter and Yucatan Wingshooting. If you want to look at them, there's a lot of birds flying, dogs pointing. On Facebook, Instagram. You can call me if you want. I can give you my number, whatever.
Sweet. Well, there we go. We'll put all that, all the links into everything so everybody can find it. And if anybody has any questions, you can reach out to me or Ryan, and we'll get you covered that way. So we know as of right now we're in the kind of the off season with birds. So what are some things that you're doing on the off season? What keeps you busy during the off season?
Well, I will mention this. You can hunt anywhere all year round. Like right now is the best time to be in Argentina. I've got guys down there, and they called me and said, "Oh my, this is the best thing we've ever done." Thanks. But you can duck hunt down there right now. You can dove hunt. You can perdiz hunt. You can fish, and it's prime time. You can dove hunt year round in Argentina, but now it's perfect for the ducks and the dove and the whole deal, pigeons. But what do? I sell drill bits that go in the ground. I do all of our Latin American sales, Spanish for water and gas, and then I also serve court papers a lot. So I drive around serving papers and talking to people on the phone about hunts.
There you go. Keeps you pretty busy all year round. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I get that. So, man, that's a lot of fun. It's always good to be able to hear what guys are doing on the off season. We've been doing a lot of turkey hunting and fly fishing around here until September 1 makes its way around. So it's always fun being able to see what guys are doing outside of it. So, but this has been a lot of fun being able to have you on the podcast. One of the questions that I like to ask before we end is, do you have any advice that you'd give new upland game hunters or guys that have already been in their tradition their whole lives? I mean, you can answer that for one or the other or both.
Advice, well, just enjoy it while you can. Like I said, when I was a kid hunting with my dad, great memories. Back then there was birds everywhere, and I just didn't. And also when I worked the first time in Mexico, I was a young kid. You know, this is my late teens, early 20s. And when I went back this year, I realized I'm in paradise right here. It made me click. I'm like when I hunted with my dad when I was a kid, I didn't realize we were living in paradise because we don't have those birds now. And the Mexico thing, I didn't realize what I was actually living in at the time until I just went back and did it. So enjoy your time, get the kids out, get them hunting. If you're hunting with your father or your uncle, your relatives, remember that. You're going to save those memories. I can tell you, great hunt, if somebody asks me if I remember something, no I don't, but I can always remember a great hunt no matter what happened, especially if it was with somebody I care about. So just cherish those moments.
I love that. It really comes right back to the why we do it at the end. Like you said, it's get out there, have some fun, enjoy the moments that we have, because like I always say, we're on borrowed time at the end of the day, so we got to pack in everything that we possibly can during the time that we have a good time, enjoy it with people that we love, make those memories. I appreciate that. Well, yeah. Thank you again, Ryan, for coming on here, sharing your story and what you're doing with your companies and upland game hunting. This has been a lot of fun being able to have you on the podcast to share your story.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It's been fun.
Of course. Thank you again, everyone, for listening to the Bird Camp Radio podcast. I hope you enjoyed episode 33 with Ryan McCollum as much as we did. But before you go, we need to release his time on the rapid fire around the campfire game. We have a new history here. We have never had this happen before. Ryan, your time was 33.79 seconds, which puts you in second place, tied with 33.79 of Travis Spring. So we have two second place holders now at this point. Good for you guys. As you already know, everybody, if you want to find us on Bird Camp Radio, you can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts, along with watching this video now on YouTube. You can also find us on our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll catch you next week. You've been listening to Bird Camp Radio, where the high pines, marsh valleys, sagebrush seas, and shelf rock ledges always call us back. Until next time, keep your dogs close, your shot true, and your campfire stories ready to share. We'll see you back at camp. Don't miss out on the next episode, where we'll host our next guest on the podcast. You don't want to miss this one. Thank you.